Hi everyone, today we are going to be writing the resolution part of your story. Now, the word resolution has the word solution in it, so we are going to be solving the problem that your character has been facing. Remember, you might have more than one problem, you might have two or potentially even more problems to solve, which can make your story more exciting. I'm just going to talk to you today about my plan so we can look at how you move through the resolution to get to the ending and talk about some of the techniques that you can use to make your story very, very dramatic, because the resolution part is the most dramatic part of all the story. The problem was dramatic potentially, but this is going to be really fast paced, lots of action. Okay? Right, let's just have a look at my plan. The most important thing about the plan is that you need to remember it is just a plan. It's hopefully going to keep you on track, but you need to add the detail. If you think about where my story is, Mo is stuck in the tunnel. That was the problem. I've now got to get her out and solve that problem. But on my plan, I've written, has to keep going, and then finally comes to opening at the other end of the tunnel. Problem solved. That's no way going to be enough information for the reader to make it a believable story or an exciting story. So what I need to do is think about developing that part of my plan into sentences. I need to be saying what Mo is thinking, what she's doing. I need to describe the setting as much as I can because it's completely dark. Think about those sentences we spoke about before, description sentences, action sentences, but also reaction. That's what the character's thinking, what the character's feeling. Questions to the reader, as well as where is your character? So don't skip through your plan when you're writing too quickly. Add the detail, because that's what keeps the reader on the edge of their seat. Then moving on, she comes to the end of the tunnel and the problem is solved. But then she finds herself in a room filled with animals. Animals look scared and all trapped in cages. So I need to describe that room. Again, the plan is very basic and I need to make sure I add the detail to help the reader see what the cages are like, what types of animals, how many, how scared they look. Is it all locked up? What's the room like? Is it small? Is it big? It will involve a lot of description, so you can go back to your planning or you can go back to the word mats as well. That they're on the website. Then a man enters the room and he's not a nice character. I've got to describe him. How does he move? What does he look like? Does he say anything? The reader needs to see that character. Then Mo probably needs to think about this question: why has he trapped the animals? What is he going to do? Maybe she can't answer it, but that needs to be included in my writing. Now we come to the second problem. So the first problem was she got lost. Now she's at least come out in a room. The second problem is that the man leaves the room and then she becomes locked inside. So now I've got to solve that problem. Now Mo runs to the door to try to get out but can't reach the catch at the top. To solve the problem, I've got my special object. I planned in this object at the very beginning because I thought, how can I solve the problem when I get there? So I added in the fact that she loves to use a catapult or a slingshot, and she's already grabbed those things. She grabbed those stones in the build-up section of the story. So now she's got those. And after I've described the struggle she has to reach the catch in plenty of detail, I can then say she suddenly remembers her trusty slingshot. She grabs a stone from her pocket and aims it at the catch, which releases, and then they can escape. And then there's a few more parts of my plan to explain. Also on the PowerPoint, you're going to find some writing techniques for resolutions. So we know about the short sentences and we know we can use those. I think we've already done that. Don't lose those short sentences. You're still going to need those for the action. She was falling. There was nowhere to run. But it also says for a resolution, try to use longer sentences as well. It gets a rhythm going, particularly if you think about what your character's going through. Are they running away from something? And it gives you an example on the PowerPoint of how you can build a sentence to be longer. The other things to do are to use metaphor and simile. It says it will help paint the scene or describe the feelings of the characters. It just gives you a couple of examples, but once you've got an example, you can create your own similes and metaphors as well. It says about introducing further possible complications. What I have done when I've done my plan is I've already done that. I introduced my second problem. So if you've already introduced a second problem, then that's absolutely fine. And if you're happy with one problem, that's fine as well. But there are a couple of phrases to introduce further possible complications. Unfortunately, or what he hadn't noticed was, So what you have to do now is go to the PowerPoint and make sure you've got your plan in front of you and all your lovely vocabulary. Don't forget there are still word mats on the website if you need them. And again, get writing, and I will see you tomorrow.